Hey everybody, my name is Amy and welcome back to my channel. Oh, my voice is probably really loud right now because I'm trying to focus. Okay, I hope this works. I have been struggling trying to get this right, which is why every time you guys come back, we're at a different angle. So today we're restarting Mini Heaven's Window from Heaven Art Designs. It's a chart by, I believe, Andy, am I mistaken? Andy Russell. So yeah, let's get started. So I started this previously. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it on this piece of 28 count 2/110, and I really wasn't liking it. I think I stitched most of this in hand, and I just wasn't liking the transition of the tent for some reason, and so I actually had this piece of 18 count Aida sitting around from when I started the Mario project the first time, and then I decided to redo it on a different piece of Aida. And so I had this just sitting there in my closet. So I was like, you know what? I think that's going to be big enough. And it is. There's plenty of space for it. And it's a little short in the width. But it works on this Q-snap that I made. Well, plastic snap frame that I made myself. It works very nicely on this one. So hopefully, I'm going to check the angle one more time before I start stitching. I'll put a picture up of what I'm stitching on throughout the video, and then we're gonna get started. I haven't pulled any of the colors out, but I do believe that I have the majority of them. That is trash because I had to reprint that chart. So we're gonna just get started. Today is Saturday. I'm stitching this on the paper chart, so I'm gonna be a little bit slower as I sort through the symbols and stuff, but honestly, I prefer the paper chart. I stitch in such a way that I use most of the thread, and I don't really need to park for the most part, which is good, and it makes it easier. Why can't I find this symbol? There's a $sign, but I need the S's. There it is. So yeah, this is the part that takes the longest, is trying to find the thing. So yeah, and then the way that I separate threads sometimes is I put them in these little bags by group number. So like this is all my 800s. And then I will come in here, I will find the 800 that I need. Excuse me, I don't know my voice is gonna do that again. Let me grab my scissors, and then we will start working on it. I'm going to check the angle again before I get too far. So I'm going to work this 2/2, no, 2/1, and I decided to restart it again because I wasn't liking the transition of color for the tent. I felt like it was a little too much white space, which is funny because most of the time tent stitch looks really nice, but for some reason, I don't know, it just wasn't. Sometimes some of the weaves aren't what you expect them to be. You expect them to be a little bit tighter, and they're not. I think we're okay right here. You guys are a little on the bottom, but I guess I can move you guys up a little bit too. Yeah, okay. So I have my thing marked here. I feel like that's more, okay. I can see that just fine. I'm gonna stick this pin elsewhere, and we're gonna get started. So it's not in that first corner, we gotta skip a corner. So yeah, I wanted to restart it on 18 count. I thought it would be better that way, and I've kind of been, I don't have very many projects that are on Aida anymore, and I've kind of been missing stitching on Aida, so that's what we're gonna do. You know, that's the one thing that sucks about the paper charts, is how long it takes to cross off your work. You know, then you have to pause. but I like it because I feel like I can look at the symbols more freely from a I don't know, a further out standpoint, I guess is the right word, because on Pattern Keeper I can't I don't know, I just feel like I don't get as much view as with stitching from a paper chart. I don't know what it is. It's just, it's a weird situation because then I have to keep zooming in and out. And with Pattern Keeper, in order to mark off, I have to zoom in quite far. And then I can only see like those immediate couple hundred blocks. And I like to be able to see more than that, I guess. I don't know. And then parking's great and all, but when I stitch this way, I don't find a need to park. And then there's something else I was gonna, oh, I don't work in the diagonal either. So last week on my most recent floss tube, so now it would be the week before when I was stitching it, but when I was stitching the Easter Lily Fairy, which is also a Heaven and Earth, I tried working in the diagonal and I couldn't do it. It was confusing the living hell out of me. I just could not do it. I don't know why, and so I gave up. I had to go back and do it because I just didn't like the transition of it. I didn't like how it was interfering with me being able to place stitches that were immediately next to it, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So there was a one and only time I tried working the diagonal, and then I will not be doing it again. So far in all of the stitching that I've done, I've never had an issue with lines. I don't know how that happens, but I just know that I have never had a problem with it. So, you know, I'm just gonna keep doing what works for me. Yeah. I should have used a smaller Q-snap, but I find I have a harder time bringing the smaller Q-snap closer to me versus this one. So I'm just gonna keep using this one. I'm really loving this stitch already. I have a feeling that this is gonna be one that I'm gonna want to keep stitching and not put down, which is great. It's nice to have projects like that because then you get a lot of work on them done at once, but then like you're neglecting like other projects. But then I feel like do I really want a new project every day? Do I want a Monaga stitch something, you know? And I'm thinking, so I started pulling out my Heaven and Earths because I'm thinking in May for Mania, I'm kind of thinking of just stitching full coverage the whole month, and getting progress on that because I do have plenty of full coverage in doing that. And then I need to just make sure that I always have a full coverage in my rotation because they're never going to get done if I don't work on them. Not only that, but I'm trying to figure out, I don't know, I'm afraid to commit to anything for May because I might be moving in May. So there's so many things up in the air, and I'm trying to just kind of figure things out and figure out like how I can get everything done and do all the things that I need to do. And I don't have a lot of disposable income, so I'm trying to figure out like how I can make everything happen, and it's just hard, really hard trying to get everything done that I really want to get done. So I live in this town that I live in. It's where my kids have gone to school. It's basically the only town that my little girls have known who are 10 and 8. They don't really remember anything before this town because we've lived here for so long. We've lived here at this point. We moved here in 2015. So 7 years we've lived here, and I'm having a hard time living here because I have no family living here, and I'm trying to figure out like how I can financially move, you know, when you don't have a lot of money to mess around with, because the only family that we had here is my ex's family, my ex-in-laws, and they don't talk to me anymore after the divorce. They don't see my kids. There's one person who does, but honestly, like, as happy as I am that my children have a decent relationship with that person, and she does make an effort to see them, it's not enough to live here for me anymore. And I'm just struggling, like, being here alone with nobody to lean on. For that, you know, we moved here back in 2015 to be closer, technically closer to family, because we were living in Colorado. So honestly, anywhere we moved over here was going to be closer to my family, because, you know, we were 12, 15 hours away from most of our family at that point. And let me cross off real quick so I don't lose my place. Oops, I didn't do that one. You know, because we were 10, so far away. So we came here. All of his family lived here. My ex's family, they all live here. His sisters, his parents, a lot of his cousins, you know. And, you know, naturally we spent a lot of time with his family because of that, because, you know, out of convenience or whatever. And it's just been hard when people are no longer there for you. You know, it's kind of like, I'm gonna need that one again, so I'm gonna leave it out. You know, trying to make it all happen. So I've just been trying to kind of figure out like how I can get this done. I'm trying to figure out if I should keep stitching that color, because there's a lot more on the other side, or if I should fill in some of the gaps and park. You know what, I'm just gonna count over with this color. Sorry, this is what I do when I stitch off of a paper chart, because I try not to park. But anyway, I don't know, it just is what it is. Rent is so high that I don't even think I could afford a place to rent, you know, out of town. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. You know, I've been trying to work on my credit, because that was something that I didn't have. I had very bad credit from situations that you know, was put in with the ex, and it created terrible credit for me to where I, you know, was never able to do much. You know, and so I don't have, still have spectacular credit. I have great rental history, you know, because I pay my rent. But, you know, other than that, it's like, well, I don't want to come on here and be negative or anything like that, but I just been so stressed out about it lately that I don't, like, I don't know how to get it out of my head, and I don't know how to work around it, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody commented and I replied, but I don't know if you got the reply or not. But somebody was asking how to sign up for Floss of the Month. So it's on the Mystical Diamond Art website, but now since that video, I have added a direct link to Floss of the Month in the description box. So it's like the first or second link in the drop down when you click on the view more or whatever it says to read the description box. Yeah, it's there. So it should take you directly to it, and they should all be clickable. Sometimes when I copy and paste on mobile, they're not always clickable, but I try to always check after I post the video. That way, you know, I can hop on the computer while I have a chance to fix that before too many people see the video. So hopefully you're able to find it that way. Yeah, and find what you need. So April's floss has already gone out, and I said I wanted to show it in the next floss too, but I don't think I am, because I usually don't show the current month floss. I usually wait until the next month. That way it's still a surprise for everybody else. So I did sneak peek one color right now, and everybody is supposed to be getting a free skein right now, but I had an issue with the dye of one of the skeins, and I had to change the transition of color. Not the transition of color, I had to change the skeins, and I had to completely scrap one of the colors. So what I've been doing is, for new subscribers, I still have skeins from previous months. I have been pulling from that to give you guys your free 6th skein. So currently the promotion that I have is every new subscriber to Floss of the Month gets a free skein in their first order, unrelated to the skeins that they're already getting. So you're going to be getting your normal 5 plus an additional skein that you don't already have because you haven't signed up for Floss of the Month yet. So hopefully that's a good incentive, you know, to kind of get people's foot in the door, to fill up the spots that I have left. And then also, I mentioned it in my last floss tube, but I forgot to mention it until the end, is that the top 2 tiers of my Patreon, we're also going to do monthly giveaways, and currently I have it set to like a project bag giveaway, but I realized that not everybody might have projects small enough for project bags, because I know I still have a lot of diamond painters that watch me, and so in that case, I'm going to change it up every now and then. So it's still going to be project bag for the first couple of months, but then I'm going to change it to maybe a diamond painting, or it's going to be giveaways of some sort. So just know that the top 2 tiers, there's going to be the monthly giveaways. So yeah, I've been recording like almost every single day. And it's kind of good though to get into the habit of doing that though, because it kind of keeps the content fresh as well. And then I'm not left, like, if I need to skip a day or 2, I'm not like left like, well, I didn't post this week, you know, and like stressing out that there's no content or anything. So I think I like that habit, you know. So yeah. They're making all kinds of noise. Does anybody else like the sound of the thread poking through the Aida? I use DMC size 28 needles for the most part. I have some John James needles, but I don't have quite enough that they're like in every project. But I go back and forth between those 2, mostly because 1, 2, 3, 4, John James needles aren't readily available, and I tend to gravitate towards things that are more readily for me to have, like the DMC 28 needles, I can grab those at Walmart. And that's my favorite thing about them, is that I can get them there. And so that's how I ended up with so many, because like every time I would go to Walmart, I would just go grab a pack. Because at the time, I don't know how much they are now. I have so many now that I haven't bought any in like a year. But at that time, they were only like a dollar, less than $2. So it was very convenient to get a nice stash of DMC. I don't know if that's my kid or my cat making all that noise. It's somebody. I haven't even taken a drink of my coffee yet, which I will right now when this thread ends. So see how I was able to, well, right here there's enough stitches of this color that I was able to kind of just stitch it all. And then too, what I do is if I pull a thread and I only use a couple of stitches, I will just cut it off and then put it back, and then it's big enough to still use for a couple more stitches like later. So I do end up with like more stitches that are started and stopped, but to me, honestly, that doesn't bother me as much if I don't have a bunch of threads parked. I'm really just okay with that. It's 3 stitches. Okay, I'm not gonna finish this color. I'm gonna pull in some of these other colors because I don't want too many holes. And there's not that many stitches. There's so much confetti right here. There's only 2 stitches of this one and these. Let me see. Well, there's 2 stitches in this 200 block of this color, and then there's 2 more stitches in this 200 block of each other. But that's too far for me to want to park it. I don't like counting more than a block over, but because it's a diagonal block, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to put in those 2 stitches. This is a part that I hate, is looking for the symbol, because more often than not, I have to go to the list 2 or 3 times before I find it. $7.79. This is such a beautiful piece, and I honestly can't wait to start seeing some of the color. I should have started on the top. Get my color out, hold on. You tell me that this is one that I don't have. Why is there a 600 in here? I don't have $7.79. Nope, I don't have that color. Okay. Oh, it's okay. Let's do the dark one. Sorry, guys. $9.39. I have to have $9.39. Oh yeah, I did put the 6 and the 7s together. Oh, that was actually 25 count Lugana that I was using. Oh, and I have a note in here that says 25 count Lugana. I must have got it from somewhere on D-Stash. I thought it was 28, but it's 25. So that makes more sense as to why the 10 stitch wasn't looking as full, because it was 25 count. Because on 28 count, it looks way better. So I start and stop with loop start and pin stitch every single time. And yes, I lift my threads because that is the only way I can thread my needle. I cannot thread it. Otherwise, I don't care who you are. I don't know how those people thread their needle with like just folding the edge in half and sticking it through. That does not work for me. It takes me so long. I heard somebody say, I was watching someone, I can't remember her name, and she was saying, she stitches a lot of full coverage, that waist knots are faster for her than a pin stitch. Did I say slip stitch? I meant pin stitch. Are faster for her than pin stitches. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. Okay, hold on, this isn't right either. Yeah, this is the right spot. Why is this not in the right spot? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I go 4 already? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh no. Yeah, that's 5. Then why? There's 1 there. And then it would be skipped. Oh, I started in the wrong spot. So this would go 1 down. That waist knots are faster than pin stitches, and I was like, okay. So I was watching, and it didn't appear to me that they were faster, because you have to take the time to stop and redo your not redo, but you have to, I'm gonna have to cut this. No, I hate wasting a thread. That's okay. You have to go through and undo, let me move this so I can talk. Undo your knots, which I thought was like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because then you have to stop, cut through all of the knots, and like, it just seemed silly to me when it's so quick to just do the pin stitch and not even worry about it. In my opinion, I don't know, maybe some people have trouble with pin stitches. I think it's the easiest way to end a thread on most of my projects, except for linen. Pin stitches are very hard to hide on linen, but I don't work on linen nearly as often. Linen's easier to weave your ends in the back, but that doesn't, I hate turning my work over. That's part of my problem with pin stitch, is that I don't like turning my work over. Not pin stitch, but ending threads in general. I don't like turning my work over. I kind of like to just do everything on the front, which is why I learned how to two-hand stitch, because it allows me to just work and not be slowed down by turning it around and hiding threads, weaving ends in. It's kind of like crocheting, like you kind of want to do it everything as you go, so that it doesn't slow down your stitching. Speaking of crocheting, I've been meaning to pull out one of my blankets because I'm so close to, well, I'm so close to finishing the main part of the blanket. Then I still have to go in and add a border and sew a back onto it. That's a part that I hate, is sewing the back onto it. It's just a pain in the butt. So there's only 3 in between. No, there should be 4. See? Oh, I marked that and I wasn't supposed to. That's the part too. Sometimes the marking stitches that you accidentally didn't do, or thought you know, or just going too far over on your marker, and then you can't erase it. I've tried using the erasable highlighters, but they don't work well on erasing the ink on here. It kind of, I only have 2 more stitches of this color. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 underneath. It's over on the 4th. The erasable highlighters, it wasn't, it would like smear the ink underneath it when I would erase it on my pattern, and I didn't like that. So I was like, well, that's not gonna work, you know? Just counting, making sure, because these are the only 2 stitches in this 100 block. This is the second 100 block up top, above this block. And then there's 3 of this color over here, but that's too far for me to count. This thread's not that long anyway. Do you guys watch Crafty Gaming Jamie, I think is how you say it? She just posted on Instagram she's working on a piece of The Witcher, and she likes to color complete, and she went through and did the entire 310 of that Witcher chart. And don't get me wrong, it looks freaking amazing, but oh my god, I don't know if I could count that way and not completely screw up. Like, I don't know how she does it, and she does a lot of her projects like that by color completing. It's just crazy. I think it's easier to count on Aida because you're only counting 1 block. First, I'm sorry if I'm in the way. For some reason, I have a really hard time counting when I'm doing 10 stitch. Oh my god, I made my coffee strong. Whew. That is very strong. Yeah, for some reason, I have a really hard time counting at 10 stitch. I don't know why. It's so weird. And then I'm counting like over and over and over and over. Where's this flower? Normally it's 9:38. Is that the right flower? Yeah. And let's do here. This color. Holy smokes, I made that coffee strong as hell. My daughter is not gonna like that. My 8-year-old loves coffee, and she's trying to learn how to make it on her own, but she can't quite get the ratio right of creamer and sugar because she likes less sugar than she does creamer. She likes a lot of creamer and a very tiny amount of sugar. It's funny because I used to drink coffee too when I was her age, and she loves coffee. So I'm not going to do this 100 block up here has a lot of this color, but I'm not going to do that one because I want to come over here. So I'm going to do right here. Yeah, that's what I like about stitching this way is I can seriously just like pick and choose where I'm going to go, how I'm going to do it. The part that sucks is I never know what color I'm working with. And when I pull a color, I'm like, oh, that's purple or that's green, because I'm marking them off on my paper chart, and it's not like the color doesn't magically pop up like it does on Pattern Keeper when you're stitching. You know, when you're stitching on Pattern Keeper, it when you check the box off, it changes to the color of thread that you just stitched. So it looks pretty neat. Not this way. And I really should have started at the top, because if you guys look at the picture, the top is nothing but color blocking. Oops, excuse me. Let me show you. Look at that, all that. That's $9.39 with like little specks of other colors. Like, that's gonna be, I think, well, honestly, like, it's gonna be a fast stitch because it's so much color blocking. And so I think like once I get through the confetti at the bottom, which is the cactus, like you guys can see at the bottom here, I'll try to make the picture as big as I can for you guys. It's a lot of cactus, but I also feel like I wanted to start at the bottom so I could get the most progress seen in the photo. So like, you know, if I started in the sky, I would just keep stitching sky for days, stitching sky, and then I would feel like I'm not getting anywhere because it's all sky, versus doing all the confetti at the bottom first. I mean, it's really not even that bad confetti, but doing this part at the bottom first, because then I can see like, oh, there's the first cactus, you know, that type of thing. Kind of blocked in this stitch. I know a lot of people are talking about like blocking in their stitches. For the most part, I can manipulate the threads around enough to put the stitch in and it looks okay. and not really worry about that. Okay, so that 100 block is done. I come into here. So the last stitch is this color in this 100 block. And then I'm going to mark those off really quickly. Hopefully I don't get in the way when I do this. Something about marking your stitches off is just so satisfying. Where did I mark off threads that I wasn't supposed to mark off? I know I did that somewhere. Did I already fix it? Oh yeah, it's up there. Okay. I did not. Did I put that color back? Yeah. Okay, so make sure I don't lose it. So, because sometimes that happens. I do lose a bobbin, especially working in bobbins. I hate bobbins. I have so many because, geez, I think at this point it's about 2 years ago. Or when, yeah, I think it was when COVID first started. I bought a stash off of eBay that was, I'm trying to figure out which way to go on this. Like, the bobbin boxes, you know, not the giant ones, but the good average size ones that you can get like everywhere, like at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, they have them everywhere. I bought a huge lot off of eBay. 1, 2, 3. I bought a huge lot off of eBay, and it was nothing but bobbins, and it was nice because I got a lot of my colors that way, and so that's how I ended up with so many bobbins. And at that time I was already like not into bobbins and not liking working with bobbins, but it was such an amazing deal that I couldn't pass it up. And so I, you know, of course I bought the whole lot, and that's how I was able to kit up. I think I probably kit up not completely, but I was able to kit up like 5 Heaven and Earth designs more than halfway, with how much colors that I had. And so it really gave me a nice jump start for the price that I paid anyway. It was amazing. I don't know how much stitching I'm going to get done today. I have some packages I got to get together. I have some more stuff that I got to list on the Mystical Diamond Hair website. Haven't done my taxes yet, which I really need to do because I could really use that money right now. And honestly, I haven't gotten my taxes from last year. So I had to file an amended return. And I still haven't gotten those taxes yet. So I did my return, but then I had to wait. I got a court order to file differently, and so when I got the court order, I amended the return, and yeah, I still haven't gotten, oops, I skipped this. Let me go back and do that stitch. I haven't gotten those taxes yet, which I'm kind of frustrated about because, like, they want people to file their taxes every year, but yet they haven't given people the taxes from last year. It's just disheartening. And, you know, I work hard and can't get the stuff that I need sometimes. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to keep stitching for a few minutes and maybe put some music over this, and then I will probably end the video because I think I've been stitching for at least 30 minutes on here. That's the part I hate about stitching on my phone. Not stitching on my phone, but using my phone to record is that sometimes, like, I don't know how long I've been recording. I don't know like how much time I have left or what time it is or something like that. Sometimes, like, I'll get a call and I can't answer it because when I'm recording, the phone doesn't ring. It just stays silent. So yeah, but anyway. Oops. Skipped a stitch right there. Right there, I skipped a brown. First mistake already. I'm gonna come in with that for a while. Well, dang it. How did I miss that? I already messed up right here too. There should be 4 stitches right there. There's only 3. So these are all in the wrong spot. 1, 2, 3. sure it's in the right spot. 1, 2. That's in the right spot. So these just are in the right spot. They look like they're in the right spot, but are they in the right spot? Something's weird here. It's just all small. Doesn't make any sense. I put it here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 right here. Okay, I mixed up the stitches somehow. So there's gonna be 2 more. The space. Okay, this should be correct. Sometimes that happens. I think I figured it out though. 2. And then we're gonna come up. Is there a space there? There's a space here. Why am I showing a space? Because I didn't put that stitch in. Well, how did I skip that? It's already the second one. Yeah, I didn't put it in at all. So it's weird. Okay, so then there is a skipped space there. Okay guys, I am gonna wrap this up right here, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one.